All right, coming in at number 42 on our Locked On Senators NHL draft rankings is Lucas Pettersson, an undersized but, oh man, skilled forward out of Sweden. He's been playing with Modo with their J20 league, but he also has gotten a taste of the SHL. And for me, for a guy who's standing 5'11", 168, I think it's pretty impressive that he's been able to make the jump even just for 5 games at the SHL's top league.
Ross, Lucas Pettersson is not in the SHL because he's a bully. Lucas Pettersson was able to play a handful of games in the SHL because other guys just can't catch him. This is a fast two-way centerman, and the speed that he has is very impressive. Scott Wheeler calls him a two-way centerman that skates fast, good snapshot, and forces turnovers. Now, we mentioned 5 games in the SHL. Unfortunately, 0 points in those games. But let's get to where it really counts and where he made his game shine in the J20 league.
Anytime point scorer in the J20 league. Get your Lucas Pettersson tickets.
Big time, yeah, because in 44 games, he had 57 points, 27 goals, 30 assists. It was clear that this guy dominated at the J20 level, and that's why he was able to go to the SHL. He was also an assistant captain in the U18 games. He had 8 points in 7 games, so more than a point per game pace up against his peers. He is solid, and so much that Modo wanted to squeeze a little extra hockey out of him. At the end of the season, he went back down to J18 level, where in 3 games, Ross, you guessed it, 3 points. Like when this guy's up against his peers, he makes it look easy.
Lucas Pettersson is on Chris Peters' board, the highest of our 7 entities at 30. He's actually not even ranked by Corey Pronman. That's a bit of a head scratcher. Bob McKenzie at 31. Scott Wheeler at 36. McKean's at 37. Elite Prospects at 44. Craig Button bringing up the rear at 50. The points jump out, but it's also a responsible game for Lucas Pettersson, and that's what I think is going to attract scouts to him, where it's like, oh man, look at the offensive potential down against his peers. Well, let's see what he's going to project to be at the next level. Is he going to be an Elias Lindholm? Like, could he be that type of two-way guy who can score 50 points? I'm not so sure, but heck, every time he's out there against his peers, he produces. At the World Under-18s, 8 points in 7 games. So who's to say when he's 27 in his prime that he's not going to be at the top against his peers? Because he's shown it time and time again that he can. So I don't want to bet against this horse. I actually really like him. I'm almost thinking of rising him up. Right now, I had him just 1 spot below Julius Miettinen, but like I'm thinking of moving him all the way up to like Teddy Stiga territory. Like he's going to be up there with my top forwards in the second round, it feels like. And he could be a guy, especially a team with strong Swedish ties. You think Detroit right off the top of your head, like that would be a perfect landing spot for a guy like Lucas Pettersson.
Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt if Detroit's got some eyes on him already. Like you mentioned, they've got a lot of Swedish talent over there, especially in their prospect pipeline. And we've talked a lot about the offense, Ross, but this is a guy that kills penalties as well. And I feel like he's one of those guys on the penalty kill. It's so nice to have a burner on your PK, right? If the defensemen on the power play, your opponent's power play, are a little lackadaisical and they're playing give and go on the blue line, well, look out. Lucas Pettersson's going to jump in there, steal it, and he's gone, and he gets an offensive opportunity down a man before you know it. So I really think there is a lot of talent here. Like you said, I bet like whichever team drafts him, by the time his entry-level deal is up, I bet he's going to be up to speed in the NHL. It just seems like this is a guy that when he has time to get comfortable, he ends up thriving. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Lucas Pettersson does next season. I got to assume he's going to spend majority, if not all his time in the SHL. Like what more does this guy have to prove in the J20 league? So next season will be a big one for his development.
It certainly will. And with Pettersson, he wore a C for the J18 team when he was younger and was an alternate captain for both the J20 team at Modo this year, as well as the Swedish under 18 team in that tournament at the end of the season. So Clearly, he's got leadership qualities. He's competitive. He works. He's the type of guy who I think the offense is so good against his peers that you always kind of just like expect it to be like the offensive driven player. But man, he's a well-rounded player. I'm talking myself into it, man. I would love if the Senators took him at 39, Pilsy. How many Sen stars do you have?
So I've got him at 3.5 stars here. Again, that's not because I don't like the player. I don't know, Ross. I think for me, I don't know where he fits in the Sens system, and I feel like there's other opportunities and other types of prospects that they could go for. Again, it's not a knock on Lucas Pettersson. I also think I've got this guy in the 28 to like 33 range. Like I know that's kind of random and I'm not sure how I came up with that, but I just feel like he's going to go to a contending team at the end of the first round or a rebuilding team at the start of the second round that wants to take an opportunity to draft a guy that's been dominating amongst his peers. So I don't think he's going to make it to either part of one of those Sens picks at the end of the first round. I think it'd be a bit of a reach at the first round, and then I don't think he's going to make it to 39. So that's why I got him at 3.5 stars.
I'll call my shot. I'm going to say the New York Rangers in James Dolan's sphere are going to walk up there with the 32nd pick. Yep, I'm calling it on May 27th. They're winning the cup, and he's going to come out there and say, from Modo in the Swedish league,
That's
Lucas
supposed to
Pettersson.
be Dion Solberg's spot.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's going to be Lucas Pettersson. Solberg's right up there. I still have Solberg 3 spots up on that. Solberg's second on my list, but we won't get too deep into that. We'll point you to all of our draft profiles that we've got on Locked On Senators YouTube channel.